Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, here to recap the Tennessee Titans 2020 NFL season. It has now almost been 2 weeks since the Titans season tragically came to an end. I told you I was going to have to take some time to get over it. Oh, it was a very disappointing game against the Baltimore Ravens. Again, as I talked about in my game recap, not because we lost the game, because I expected us to lose the game, but not in the fashion in which we did, not scoring damn near any points offensively, our defense actually being decent, and yet our offense and our coaching letting us down. It was unbelievable, but now I'm over it, and now we're in 2021 in the 2021 offseason for us. Some teams are still going, but for us, and now we can start to look at 2021, but before we do, we're going to do that in the upcoming videos for the next 3-4 months. But let's look back at the 2020 season, the 2020 offseason, what went right, what went wrong, what mistakes were made, and then, just peeking a little bit into next offseason in terms of the things that we need to correct. So we're going to go through this team, the significant games of the season, free agency, the draft, and then we're also going to grade position by position group this team, and then also give out awards for the 2020 NFL season. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started, and let's look back at the 2020 offseason. What were the free agent acquisitions and departures for this team, and how did it set up this team moving forward? Well, we look at the arrivals, the free agent arrivals for the Tennessee Titans. And the biggest one was Jadeveon Clowney. And this is an arrival that did not come until late into August. It may have even been the first week of September, but it was definitely late into the offseason that they actually got Jadeveon Clowney in. Right, so not much time in terms of training camp and getting ingratiated into the defense. It was a 1-year, $13 million deal. And this is a guy that, yes, maybe hasn't lived up to the number one overall pick hype. This is a guy that was number one overall in the 2014 NFL draft, but he's still been a significant player in this league, a plus and positive defender in this league, a very good defender in this league overall. Maybe not great, but a very good defender, and a guy that we expected to make an impact for this football team. He did not. I mean, he really did not. Now, he wasn't bad. In fact, I still think he was quite decent, but he wasn't worth the $13 million that we signed him for. I wouldn't sign him for anything more than $7-8 million next year. I mean, that's how disappointing this season was. And then ended up having his meniscus issues and being injured for the latter part of the season. Very disappointing there, but it's not even the worst. Because then you look at Vic Beasley, the former linebacker, defensive end, whatever he wants to call himself. He's barely not even a football player at this point, but Vic Beasley, the former defender, I guess, for the Atlanta Falcons, who didn't do anything for us. I mean, the guy was out there just running around, doing his best, quote unquote. I don't even know if he was doing that, and really made no impact whatsoever. And that was a 1-year, $9.5 million deal. Maybe the worst deal in Tennessee Titans history, maybe. I mean, we've had a lot of bad deals, and we're going to talk about another one, a rookie that we're going to discuss. But this was really bad considering the fact that he really didn't do anything. Like, there was never even a chance of him doing anything. So, it was really bad. He didn't even want to be here by middle of the season. It was really bad. Stephen Gostkowski, disappointing kicker. Now, he had his moments. He also had his bad moments. I mean, it wasn't awful, but Ryan Suckoff did better this year. So, you have to look at that and say, wow, we should have just kept Ryan Suckoff then. You look at, though, some of the departures, because we also got Jack Crawford. Who cares about Jack Crawford? But how about some of these departures? Jack Conklin, who ended up making the All-Pro team once again. Now, the Tennessee Titans did not lose this season, right? Because they didn't have Jack Conklin out there. Dennis Kelly was fine at right tackle. Now, you can argue, and I don't think he would have done this. The money really didn't work out for this. You can argue that if he would have kept Kelly and Conklin, I don't think there was any way of that. But you can argue if that were the case, then hey, it would have been better to have Dennis Kelly at left tackle, Jack Conklin at right tackle, then maybe our offense is a little better against the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe. But I just don't think that was in the cards. I think either Kelly or Conklin was leaving, and that was the end of the discussion. I don't think they had enough money, nor that I think Dennis Kelly wanted to be a backup tackle again. I think he wanted a chance to compete for a starting job. If you re-sign Conklin, I think he's going to leave, without a doubt to me. So that's just my thoughts on that. So Jack Conklin leaves, he becomes an all-pro player. Marcus Mariota. Okay, this guy didn't play for the Las Vegas Raiders, but he did play one game that was very Marcus Mariota-esque, people. I mean, it was what we expect from Marcus Mariota, he went out there, he put his heart on the line, ran the ball a lot, way more than he should have. He's going to get injured if he keeps doing that, and damn near led his team to a victory. This is what we've seen. So not a big deal there. It has no bigger impact on how this team performed this season, but just a departure of note. We also had Jurrell Casey, who went to the Broncos and tore his bicep, so he didn't play this season. And now the rumblings are starting within the Tennessee Titans fan base. Is there a chance? Is there an opportunity that Jurrell Casey can return to Tennessee because he's likely to be a cap casualty for the Denver Broncos next season, making him a free agent? Can he return to Nashville? Sure he can. Will he? No. Because I think that bridge is burned. And I think we burned it straight to hell. I think he's pissed. I don't think there's a chance in hell that he's going to come back and play for John Robinson and Mike Vrabel again. I mean, he talked about it. He feels like he was thrown away like trash. Okay? And I just don't think that relationship is going to be severed anytime soon, and certainly not in the one season that we've seen pass by. Don't see it. Sorry. I wish I did. I'd love to have him back. Don't see it. So, Jurrell Casey left but tore his bicep, so we don't really know what he did. Logan Ryan played decent for the Giants, as did Austin Johnson. Dion Lewis, no. Dion Lewis is done. God, I mean, Dion Lewis, he can't even run the ball. He barely can catch it anymore. Dion Lewis is done. So we didn't miss Dion Lewis. So a lot of departures, not a lot of arrivals. Now, none of the departures really hurt that much, right? Because Jack Conklin, though he played great, we didn't really miss him. That's not any reason why our team was worse this season. But you know what? When you look at some of the departures with the Logan Ryan and the Austin Johnson, though, they did contribute to this Giants defense, which ended up being very decent this year. So those are two that you look at, and looking at some of the depth that we had defensively, and you want to say, hey, maybe we should have kept those guys. Now, the Logan Ryan contract negotiations were weird. I think he wanted over $10 million. They ended up signing for only $5 million with the Giants. I don't know what type of negotiations were going on between he and the team. But it would have been nice to have Logan Ryan this year, and you cannot doubt that, people, not 1 second. So we move on from free agency. Now let's move on to the draft. How was the draft for the Tennessee Titans in 2020? Well, things got worse. And that's hard to say because that was not an impressive free agent campaign for the Titans there, or at least free agent offseason, whatever the hell you want to call it. But the draft was even worse. This is the worst draft I've seen us have as a football team, potentially ever. It just depends on what happens moving forward. And I think I really only have one real hope from this draft class, maybe two. But even the two, I'm not super excited for. One, I'm kind of excited for, but the other one, not really. So let's go and start. And I've ranted on this guy so many times. I made 2 videos ranting on this guy, one on his DUI and one on his partying. I don't need to discuss him again. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about that man. Is he a man? Isaiah Wilson, who, again, I mean, this is a bust of a first-round pick. You know, you're just waiting any moment now, any second now. He will be traded or released from this football team. He will be a forgotten memory to some, but not to me. And my goodness, I mean, this was a horrible draft pick in Tennessee. And, you know, the door will hit him on the way out. I'm sure if he can fit through it. I mean, God knows, Jesus, he's huge. But if he can fit through the door, it will hit him on the way out. Christian Fulton. Now, this is the one rookie that can save the entire draft class. This is it. It's all on him, as far as I'm concerned, people. We're going to get into Darrynton Evans and Chris Jackson in a second. So, Christian Fulton played in 6 games, got an interception, and played decent. Yeah, for the most part. For a rookie corner, played decent. For a rookie corner, played decent. Because you have first-round corners in this league that struggle tremendously. Jeffrey Okudah, who was the number 3 overall pick for the Lions, he struggled tremendously this season. Now, he was asked to cover a lot of number 1, number 2 wide receivers. Christian Fulton wasn't asked to do that a lot. But still, you know, so you look at a Jeffrey Okudah, he struggled as a number 3 overall pick this year. Jeff Gladney, who was a first-round pick out of TCU to the Vikings, he struggled this year. Rookie quarterback struggle. This is something that is known in this league. So for Christian Fulton to not look entirely embarrassing is actually, you know, very promising. Darrynton Evans. Okay, so, you know, as I've said ever since we drafted him, I don't know. I don't see it. I wish I did. You know, this season, did I see anything on the football field that was really impressive? No. He averaged like 3.9 yards a carry. You know, like a 31-yard kick return once. And that's it. Now, he didn't play much because he was injured here and there and, whatever. You didn't see much, but I didn't expect much this season. I expected like 200-300 rushing yards, and we didn't even get that. Okay, so, hopefully next season we see more, but if we upgrade the running back position again this offseason, I'd be for that, because, man, do we need some dynamic, input to this running game and this passing game really for this entire team and this offense. And I think a receiving back would be huge in terms of this offense, making it more consistent and dynamic. And I think we're missing that component. And I'm not sure if Devin Evans is going to be the guy to provide that. Laurel Murchison, nothing. He's a nothing player. And I was actually excited for him because I saw traits that looked similar between he and Jarrell Casey, a young Jarrell Casey coming out. Guys that may not be physically, intimidating, may not have put up great combine numbers, but had some good agility scores, look like smart players, sound players that might rise. Yeah, he ain't no Jarrell Casey yet. Now, I'm not going to throw him away. I'm just saying for right now, he's a nothing player. Maybe he'll improve. Okay. Cole McDonald had a farm. I told you he stunk at Hawaii. I don't know why people didn't listen to me. I told you he was going to be out of this team as soon as, possible. Wasting a pick on him was fine. It was a 7th round. He never had a chance in hell. And then you also had Chris Jackson. So Chris Jackson, the cornerback out of Hawaii, he played well in training camp. They liked him when we saw him on the field. He was okay. Nothing of note. This rookie class stunk. And it was one of the reasons why we did not make the leap that a lot of us wanted us to make. Now, before the season, I said we were going to go 11-5. We went 11-5. And this was with me thinking that we're going to get some stars out of Isaiah Wilson, a little bit better and more consistent play just in terms of being on the field, from Christian Fulton and Derek Evans. So, what happened here? This was bad. Now, we're talking about, John Robinson here, who drafted Jeffrey Simmons and A.J. Brown back to back. So he still has plenty of room as it pertains to me being the general manager of this team. But this was a disaster. You're talking about Isaiah Wilson, who's done. He's a bust. He's going in the pantheon now. There's not many busts, but if some John Robinson busts like a Kevin Dodd in the past, right? And Austin Johnson, who may not be a complete bust, but you drafted him before you drafted Michael Thomas, before you drafted some other players that we could have got in that second round. Actually had a lot of talent in that second round. So some L's for John Robinson, more W's than L's. And we re-signed Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry in the offseason, and that's huge. And we can't forget that. So I'm not forgetting that. That was a big part of the offseason. It was the number one thing that we wanted in the offseason, so we got it. But make no doubt about it. This free agency and this draft class is why this team was one of the two biggest reasons why this team was not a Super Bowl team. What was reason number 3? No defensive coordinator added to this team. Now, Shane Bowen apparently, is he our outside linebacker coach or our linebacker coach? Whichever one. I think outside linebacker coach. Now, apparently he was the one that had to play calling duties this year, whatever. The point is the defense stunk. There was no defensive coordinator role that was passed out. There was no, even if it was Shane Bowen, there was no one that deserved the task, the role on this football team. It was a disaster. And then now you see Dean Pease accepting the defensive coordinator job in Atlanta with Arthur Smith. What is going on up in here? Okay, now Dean Pease. Now, he's been contemplating retirement for a while. Okay, and that's kind of how we got him from the Baltimore Ravens. Did he just not want to coach for Martin Vrabel anymore? Or is he just doing a little favor for Arthur Smith? I'll do 1 year, get the defense right, and then I'm out of there. I don't know. But what I know is this. Not getting a defensive coordinator for this team hurts. So now let's go ahead and get into this season. So what did this season look like for the Tennessee Titans? Well, things started out great. And there were significant key games that I wrote down that I want to discuss. We went 5-0, and I don't think any of those games really were significant, except for maybe the week 3 game against the Vikings, because that was the one that kind of, the week 2 game against the Jaguars, it was a divisional game. The Jaguars at that point were 1-0. Isn't that crazy? Having beat the Indianapolis Colts in week 1, so maybe the Jaguars were a little better than what we thought. I thought at that time they might be a 5, maybe 6 win team. I wasn't going crazy or anything. Jaguar fans were, But, that was going on. So I was like, okay, whatever. But week 3 was like, okay, wait a minute, people. This defense stinks. That was the first game where they was like, wait a minute, people. This defense stinks, and it's a problem. It was a real problem after you saw that Minnesota Vikings game. But hey, a lot of us, toss it to the side. We're undefeated, MJ. We just do what it takes to win. We're just winning. It's okay. It's okay. We're just winning it. Well, sometimes you got to do a little more than win games, people. Sometimes in this league. It's why we're sitting at home. It's why the Pittsburgh Steelers are sitting at home. These are two teams that, yes, started 5-0. Steelers 11-0. And they're right at home. Whereas the Green Bay Packers, who dominate people, the Chiefs, who actually didn't dominate as many teams as they should have, but who normally dominate people, the Bills who dominate people and the Bucks who dominate people. That's why they're there, because they show you their Super Bowl potential instead of, just being disappointing against the worst teams in the league every week. It's ridiculous. Although the Chiefs did do that a lot this year. They did against the Falcons, against the Raiders. They did do that a lot. But you get my point. Okay, so with that said, week 3 was when we got, a little bit of an inkling that, there are problems brewing. Week 7 against the Steelers. So 2 undefeated teams, and the Steelers come on the first half, and they put all the points on us, and it's like, okay, yeah, we got problems. And at that point, I wasn't done with the Super Bowl aspirations. I started Super Bowl aspirations, but I was like, okay, we got to get Adoree Jackson back. We got to get this defense healthy again, and hopefully this is a nice snap to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, I'm not going to get started. And hopefully that gets us focused and realize that, okay, we need to really tighten up defensively. Hopefully Mike Vrabel changes some things on the defensive coaching staff, whatever. Thought that was going to be the wake-up call. Then the next week, we lose to the Bengals, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're just not that good. Now, I think we're still good, but we're just not that good, because a good football team, a very good football team, does not go out and lose to the Cincinnati Bengals, albeit with Joe Burrow, does not go out and lose to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-20. That is just something that a very good team does not do. Then we had at least, hey, we can still dominate our division, right? We've been doing well in our division. I think at this point we're 2-0 in our division, and then now it's time for us to face those Indianapolis Colts, a team that has given us hell over the last 2 decades. Here's an opportunity for us to defeat Phillip Rivers, who also has given us hell for the last 17 years. And we failed miserably on a Thursday night, and that's when the Super Bowl aspirations left the building for me. I was like, all right, that's it, no Super Bowl. Not this year. Nope. Sorry. Don't want to hear it. That's it. Done. That was it. That night for me. Same Titans there. Slightly improved, but not going to be able to beat the Chiefs. Not going to be able to beat, when it's all said and done in the playoffs, enough teams to win the Super Bowl. They could beat the Bills here. They could beat the Ravens there. They could beat the Steelers here. They could beat even maybe the Chiefs there. Maybe. But not 4 teams in a row. No way. No chance. That's it. Done. And then we had really the nail. So then we had the Week 12 win against the Colts. So that's when it was like, okay, I don't think we're going to win the Super Bowl. Can we make another AFC Championship appearance? We're still going to win the AFC South. After this game, I was like, hey, we're winning the AFC South. I came on here like King Booker, and I had my crown and my whatever gimmick going on, and I told you all we're going to win the South, and we won the South. All right, this is why you come to this channel. I tell you what's going to happen. So we got a little excited. Okay, the Browns, we lost to the Browns. Okay, then we beat the Jaguars and the Lions. Not in that order. I think it was the Lions and the Jaguars. And then week 16, everything went to hell again. And the season was over. And then this is when it was clear to me that no, not only are we not going to win the Super Bowl, we're not getting to no AFC Championship game. And if we face the Ravens or the Bills or the Chiefs, and there's no way we're going to face the Chiefs or the Chiefs, we're done in the first round. Period. That was it to me. This Packers game proved it to me. The Packers, and in succession, in combination with the Texans lost week 17, I said, no, we're not beating the Ravens. Sorry. If we would have faced the Dolphins, I think we would have won. If we would have faced the Colts, 50-50. But nope, not going to beat the Ravens. Nope, not going to beat the Bills. Steelers, probably nope. I just saw nope. I mean, with Deshaun Watson put up all the points he did on us, Aaron Rodgers just ripping us to shreds. It was over. It was done. So it was over. The defense was just too bad, people. It was just awful. It was awful all season long. He never had a chance in hell. From week 2, week 3, Jaguars and Vikings, it was clear as day how the Denver Broncos did not put up more points than us. Remember, because that Drew Lock clown was missing Jerry Jeudy and everyone and their mama in that week 1 game in Monday Night Football. They should have put up 30 on us. The defense was awful. It was terrible. And it gave us glimpses like the Tuesday night game against the Buffalo Bills. There were glimpses. But the defense was bad. It was truly awful. And that's what limited this team. Why was the defense awful? Because free agency, we drafted a right tackle. who wasn't going to play. That's a problem. And I can't even tell you right now, because there weren't many rookies that actually performed very well, especially at the S position this year in the first and second round. But we all knew we needed an edge guy, okay? And yet we took a right tackle to wait in the wings. Well, he's going to be waiting in the wings forever because he's never going to play. We took a cornerback that didn't play much. I'm going to go blame John Robinson for that because I so affected Christian Fulton moving forward. Laurel Murchison was a nothing player. Darrington Evans also basically a nothing player this year. You might as well have thrown out, what's that guy's Javon Ringer. Who would have seen the difference between those two? The free agency was awful. Jadeveon Clowney ended up producing damn near nothing. Vic Beasley did produce actually nothing. Jack Crawford, nothing player. There were no additions to this team worth a damn. And then Mike Vrabel not getting a defensive coordinator. I mean, the offseason was awful. It was terrible. That's what screwed this team this season, without a doubt, and that's why we got the disappointing results that we did this season. So with that said, let's now go through the positions, and let us grade each positional group this season, one by one. Let us begin with the quarterback position, because that is the position of note. That is Ryan Tannehill and Ryan Tannehill alone. And this year, I will give Ryan Tannehill an A-. And I do give A's and A+. So he's 2 deviations away from Rodgers and Mahomes, who were A+ for me. He's 2 deviations away from that. A-, It's definitely better than a B+. I might give B+. I want to see what you guys say in the comments. But ultimately, man, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, leading us to the wins that he did, and the defense being as bad as it was. I really wish he would have gave us more of an effort in the playoffs, really been on the point, and I'm starting to have concerns about him. Can he win these big games? I don't know. But this was an A-, which I will take. I will take that every single year from the quarterback position. I mean, that's great. A- is great. A anything is great from the quarterback position. So I'm very happy with Ryan Tannehill, but he has to start showing up in these big games. Derrick Henry, A+, and the running backs, A+. Now, I'm still going to give the plus here because it's 2,000 freaking yards. Despite there being no one behind Derrick Henry worth a damn. I mean, Jeremy McNichols was actually all right, but that was it. So I'm still going to give A+ here because you have a 2,000+ yard rusher. I mean, how can I give A+ there? Wide receivers. Now, here's the deal with the WRs, as they say down south. They don't. Corey Davis and A.J. Brown, fantastic. A.J. Brown, woo, magnificent. Corey Davis, not a great end to the season, but very good overall. That's it. No one else did anything. Nick Westbrook-Ikini will probably ended up being our 3rd best wide receiver, at least for expectations. Adam Humphries continues to not even be on the football field, so what a disastrous contract that we have going on there. Yeah, people had high hopes for Khalif Raymond. Look, let's just stop with the Khalif Raymond love. Look, you can throw him out there for the occasional go route. That's it. He's a 5th wide receiver at this point. He's not a 4th. He's a 5th. And he's barely even that. Okay, let's get real. We need to upgrade this wide receiver core. And you saw it in the divisional game against the Ravens. So I'm going to give this unit a B. Okay, and Corey Davis and A.J. Brown, that duo is an A-. But everyone else is like a C, D. I mean, my God. So I'll give it a B. Tight ends. So the tight ends is interesting. So John New started out so hot, but then he kind of disappeared. And that's a little concerning, is he's not that reliable route runner pass catcher. They rely on Anthony Ferguson for that, who had a very good year. So I like Ferguson. I like Michael Pruitt. I also like Jeff Swain. So, and I like the blocking that this unit gave. So I'm overall going to give the tight ends, it's going to be A- or B+. I'm going to say A-. No, I'm going to say B+. I'm going to say B+ for the tight ends. It's damn near an A-. I'm being a little strict here. Let's just give A-. I'm being very nice. I'm going to give A- because overall, there wasn't a bad player among them. They all played well, just in different ways. So A-. Offensive line. Now, there were problems late, but considering the injury to Taylor Lewan, David Questenberry came in and played decent. Overall, this unit played well. They ran block pretty well. They had a 2,000-yard rusher. And they pass protected for Ryan Tannehill pretty well. They had some issues. Am I going to go A- or B+ here? I think the offensive line as a unit right now, it's worse than the tight ends. Although I really do like Roger Saffold, and he had a great year. And Nate Davis had a very strong year. Maybe I'd give another A-. The offense was great. I think I could give these A-minuses and feel comfortable with that. A- to the offensive line. Now, the defense. Oh, defensive line, huh? Well, you know, we have my boy Big Jeff Simmons. And he's the only saving grace for this defensive line, and hell, the defense, really. So, because he's on this defensive line, it's going to save it from an F. Am I still going to give it a D? No, I can't give it a D. But is it a C? Is it a C minus? It's a C minus. I mean, people, this defensive line is average. It's not even average. It's below average. It's a below average defensive line. It is. You know, maybe not significantly. I don't think it's one of the worst defensive lines in the league. Well, it kind of is. It's a C minus, and it's damn near a D plus, but you have Big Jeff Simmons there, so that kind of helps. Linebackers. Now, Rashaan Evans, disappointing. J.R. Brown, disappointing. David Long actually did okay, but too late in the season. Aaron Landry, look, I wish they would rush him more. He only had 5.5 sacks on the season. Disappointing. Clowney, disappointing. Vic Beasley, nothing. This unit gets a D plus. It was bad. It was bad. Okay, it was really bad. And then the secondary, you know what? I just blame the pass rush, the linebackers. That's why I gave them the D plus more than I did the secondary. Because you know what? Malcolm Butler really came on late. Adoree Jackson, was injured for most of the season. But Fulton, Chris Jackson, they try to do the things. Now, Jonathan Joseph, thank God, the decaying corpse known as Jonathan Joseph is dead and gone. May he rest in peace forever and always, please. But it was bad early. So I can't go higher than C minus. I mean, it was still bad. Kevin Byard. Oh, he did nothing. And then special teams. Brett Kern's still great, but then he was in and out. We had Trevor Daniel, who again is the name of your next door neighbor, the kid that you'll never know and don't want to know. You had, Steven Gostkowski missing field goals. Nothing exciting at all in the kicker punt return game for the most part all season long. I mean, this unit was... Can I go D here? Is D too harsh? It's harsh with Brett Kern there. Oh, you're happy. You're lucky Brett Kern is in this unit. It gets a C minus, and I could go worse on that. At least did we get a block? I think we got like a kick block. We also had some penalties. Yeah, I don't know. We had a lot of missed field goals, dog. I mean, we had a lot. We had a lot of missed field goals. Some of them were blocked, some issues, some snafus, some problems. C minus, is that? Nah, I gotta go D plus. I'm sorry, Brett Kern wasn't in there enough. If Brett Kern was out there enough all season long, maybe it's a C. But he wasn't. He had his injury, his issues, and then whenever we had replacements, the replacements were booty. So there you go. You can see the dynamic between this team. You can see the dichotomy. You can see how the offense was so good and the defense and special teams were not. This team was unbalanced. And that's one of the things that hurt this team. So lastly, let's give some awards. Let's give some awards out for this season. Let's start with the MVP. You got to have co-MVPs and Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. You can argue which one's more valuable. I'm giving co-MVPs, and I know as Tiger fans, we hate co-MVPs because that's what our boy Steve McNair has in his, trophy case at home. But sometimes you just got to do it, and this is one of those times. Now, Offensive Player of the Year is Derrick Henry, okay? Because although you can argue Tannehill might be more valuable because at the end of the day, he's a quarterback, he has to lead us on these game-winning drives, and he did a very good job at that and at the quarterback position overall. Derrick Henry was a better offensive player. He was the best player at his position. Okay, so he deserves Offensive Player of the Year. We also have Defensive Player of the Year, and come on, Big Jeff Simmons. Now, I also considered Malcolm Butler here. Some of you might be surprised by that. I did. He's my honorable mention here. But I had to go with Jeffrey Simmons, Rookie of the Year. I didn't even want to give it out. But I gave it to Christian Fulton because he had an interception. That's it. That's my whole rationale. Isn't it great? That's how great our rookie class was, where that's the rationale. Oh, you had one interception? Rookie of the Year. That's the state of our team. And then we move on to Comeback Player of the Year. Corey Davis. It was a strong comeback year for him, a contract year for him. This is what I wanted to see from him. So I think he deserved it the most. Some people might argue, I mean, I'm not sure who else you can really argue here. I mean, I think that's pretty much it. So if everyone has a better argument, I'd love to hear it. But maybe Malcolm Butler a little bit. I did consider Malcolm Butler here, but I think Corey Davis is the comeback player of the year. Biggest surprise, Nate Davis, who was a guy that never was physically imposing or intimidating or impressive, but is starting to really catch his stride in this league, becoming one of the better right guards in this league, being integral to Derrick Henry's 2,000-yard rushing campaign. Nate Davis, I see you, good sir, and I raise you one. And then biggest disappointment, there's a lot, but it's got to be Isaiah Wilson. I mean, the expectations were low. I mean, a lot of us were hoping he wouldn't even play. But my God, for him to be an unmitigated disaster, a bust of a first-round pick this early, this soon, yeah, he's the biggest disappointment. There's no coach of the year because, I mean, I guess if I had to give one, it'd be Arthur Smith. Okay, coach of the year, Arthur Smith. I didn't put it down the ticker, but that'd be coach of the year. So with that said, that is going to do it on the Tennessee Titans 2020 NFL season. Overall, people, look, again, I told you all, okay, that we're going to be 11-5 this season, that we're going to win the AFC South, and we're going to lose in the playoffs. I thought it was going to be divisional round. We didn't make division round, but I told you when the game came and we were going to lose to the Ravens, right? This is what I tell you. I tell you people the truth, okay? This is what I tell you. But I also tell you this. So we're about to preview the offseason soon. It's not looking great because the cap is not working for us right now because now we got that big quarterback contract. We got that big running back contract. We got that big left tackle. We got that big free safety. We got that big corner who could be cut, but we got that big corner contract. Yeah, this is going to be hard. And it's a good thing we have John Robinson at the helm. But this 2019 offseason could loom large for a while. So with that said, those are my thoughts on the Tennessee Titans 2020 season. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.